again, I told you it's hard for a female to carry that spot because of the fact, I don't know why it's a male dominated. I don't really have no logical answer, but all I know is that I was responsible for conducting interviews for people, for guys, and nobody was able to, you know, pull it off. So finally my boss was like, you can have it. What? Drop them? Let's go. So became drop town personality, and life was cool. So this particular day, I got a call at the radio station, like from one call from my landlord, like, hey, you know, the police just kicked in my door. And then I got another call from a detective that's like, hey, you know, if you don't get to the house in the next 20 minutes, your daughter's gonna be in foster care. I get another call from my cousin, like, hey, I can't get Jew because of the fact they're saying that I can't prove that I'm related to her. I'm like, what is going on? So I go home. When I go home or whatever, no, I called my friend at the time who was an attorney. I wonder why. But I called my friend at the time that was an attorney, and I asked him, I said, you know, I'm telling him what's going on, but I'm driving home. I'm telling him what's going on or whatever. And he's like, listen, he was like, everybody calls me D, ironically. We gonna get into the name thing, but my family and my friends at the time, everybody called me D. And he was like, D, I'm telling you now, they're gonna arrest you, and they're using a baby to bait you. Now I'm going through my mental Rolodex like, a girl ain't did nothing in a minute, so I don't know what y'all talking about. So he said, I want you to park at the end of your block. It's in the middle of winter at this time. It's like maybe 3-4 inches of snow. He said, I want you to park at the end of the block, and I want you to take off your coat. And he said, leave everything in the car. He said, put the key on the seat. And he said, and walk down with your hands up. And he said, with a slight smile on your face. I'm crying. I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I walk down with a smile on my face with my, you know, I didn't understand that. The reason why he told me to walk down with a slight smile on my face was because of the fact I wouldn't look as intimidating, and I wouldn't look as, you know, dangerous or whatever. And he's right, because as I walk down the street, they approached me and they handcuffed me and they put me in the police car. Coming to find out, they had raided my house. And I was being charged with falsifying school records and something. The article will be up. And so I'm in a car, and an officer talking to me, you know, well, you know, why did you fill out a lease, man? Why did you turn a fraudulent lease and this and that and that? I'm like, I'm not talking to you. You know, I wasn't as ignorant as I was when I was 20, but I was still a little ignorant. I'm like, I'm not talking to you. I ain't got nothing to say. I left out an important part. This was the same officer that had been following my kids home from school. Same officer that was pulling them out of class. Same officer that was questioning them about who they live with, when did they move here, and all this stuff. Now my kids, them in the area, they're a little different than me. They don't tell me stuff because they say you know, if this word was out back then, it would have been forested. But they don't tell me because of the fact they say I overreact. No, I don't. So they didn't tell me all this stuff until I think Damon had enough, and he told me. I don't know how I found out, but however I found out, I went up to that school and I let them know, like, first of all, you don't take my children out of their classroom without contacting me and get my permission. Second of all, you don't ever question my children without talking to an adult and getting my approval. Don't ever ask them anything personal, and how dare you follow them home. So at this point, I filed a complaint with the police department because of the fact it was a police officer in a junior high school. So I filed a complaint with the police officer or whatever. And that's kind of what probably kicked off this whole thing. So now jumping back to being in the squad car, we get to the precinct or whatever. And when we get to the precinct or whatever, my family had already put up the bond. So I only stayed in there about an hour. But I had a fear of my life shifting and me losing everything I worked so hard to get, because being in Youngstown allowed me to start my life over. Nobody knew me. I was in a different church. I had different friends. My family was there, but I didn't really mess with them. You know, it was like I had an opportunity to start over, you know? And here we go. Girl, you know, it was all over the news. It was all in the newspapers. It was bad. And at this time, I wasn't divorced. We had just been separated for some years, and I had started dating this guy who was the news reporter in the city. And so he covered, you know, like criminal cases and stuff or whatever. That was his part. So I was so afraid of him seeing me going into court. That mugshot that y'all see, if you look, that is definitely a bad wig. That is definitely, like, you know, no makeup and everything, because of the fact I did not want to be recognized. And I did good for a minute until my boss caught the 5 o'clock news. So I get back to work, I come in the office or whatever, and he's like, all I'm gonna say is poor choices. I'll never forget Skip saying that. And he just kept saying it. He said, poor choices. And I'm just like, I wanted to be like, I didn't do that, da da da. He's right, poor choices. Because remember I told you that first situation with that officer, my ignorance of the law is not his problem, it's not his responsibility. This was the same situation. It was the same situation. Instead of me, you know, doing the extra work to find out, you know, what I could do to rectify the situation, I took it into my own hands and came up with my own decision, which I'm notorious for doing. And it didn't work for me. So now I forgot another important part. Now, don't get me wrong. A girl was a little mad and a little upset, but a girl was not about to play games with them because they had violated all type of rights. So I went ahead and I let them know. I said I will be contacting the NAACP, and I'm going to let them know how y'all violated my rights and raiding the house for some school documents and da da da. I'm just going off, and oh my God, that was probably the worst thing I can do, because usually you're supposed to talk junk when you get home. My dumb butt talking junk in the precinct. He said, you say one more word, I'm gonna take you down the county and you're gonna be sitting. Okay. So I did. I contacted the NAACP. I contacted them and they said, we don't handle cases like this. I'm like, dang it. But I do know someone who can. Okay. Well, I'm going to give you the number to Al Sharpton's office, and let's see if they're able to help you. Now, back in the day, like I said, if I didn't have kids, I would be a for real activist. Back in the day, I was on a young adult committee for the NAACP, and I got a chance to actually, you know, participate in marches and stuff or whatever. And, you know, Al Sharpton was one of those power movers that was there that I had a chance to meet. So I'm like, and he was for no games. So I'm like, all right. So they forward my information over, and when they forward my information over, long story short, now what ends up happening is you have a case that has formed. So I'm gonna put up the article, I'm gonna let you see it, but I'm gonna read quick. So it says, a national civil rights organization is rallying around a Valley woman accused of falsifying records to send her children to boarding schools. The National Action Network was founded by Reverend Al Sharpton and has numerous local chapters, including one in Salone. The organization is supporting Janay Brockman, 31, who police charged February 11th with falsification and tampering with records. It sounds so deep. Brockman pleaded not guilty to the misdemeanor falsification charge and had a hearing on the felony tampering with records charge February 15th. She will appear in Mahoney County Court in Boardman at 10 a.m. March 29th for a pretrial. Brockman is free on $9,500 bond. We're actively investigating this case because this stinks to high heaven, says Richard Jones, the Midwest representative for the National Action Network. The network wants to have a rally in support of Brockman as early as March 7th, Jones says. The network has raised questions about why the school resource officer, Sergeant Chuck Hillman, I will never forget you, Chuck, began investigating Brockman. The owner of a home for sale on Erskine Avenue was receiving mail addressed to Brockman. Officers came to find out that Brockman had enrolled her children in the school by using that address and actually had displayed a lease. Upon checking, it was determined that she had never lived or rented there, Nichols said. Police said that the date of the offense goes back to September when paperwork with Erskine address was given to the school, and that they do believe Brockman was not living in the township at the time. Wait for it. Brockman was arrested this month at her home on Centerville Avenue. I don't put people's street in there. A Boardman address for those charges. The whole thing was reviewed with the prosecutor prior to filing of charges. If people have a complaint, I'm more than happy to listen, Nichols said. If we have to do an internal investigation, we're more than happy to do that. The network also expressed concern that the school resource officer is not a school employee. Police officers just sitting in the school. Nichols explained, however, that the school district and township have an agreement that goes back to June 2016, provides for automatic renewal. The schools did pay the township for the school resource officer service for 1 year, but that was 3 years ago. Resource officer was funded by a grant between $12,000 and $15,000 from the state attorney general's office, he added. Hillman is assigned to be up there, Nichols said. Police said Brockman has 6 children, 5 of whom are school age and attend Boardman schools. When Brockman was arrested, police said her children were still attending Boardman schools because they now live in township. The investigation is continuing, Hillman said. Police also said Brockman has a warrant out for Michigan for a probation violation related to welfare fraud. I'm gonna explain it. Sharpton spoke at a rally in Akron February 17th. He said the punishment for a 40-year-old mother of 2 children did not fit her crime. The woman was found guilty of tampering with records by using her father's address to claim residency status that allowed her children to go to an outside school district. She spent 9 days in jail for the crime. Now, the probation for the welfare fraud, remember I told you I had the case before. Now, when they made me pay back the money and stuff, I ain't paid it all back because I ain't have it all back. So what ends up happening is you stay on probation until you pay all the money back. And guess what? If you don't pay the money that month, it's a violation. And guess what? If you get 3 or more violations for not paying them their money, guess what? It's a warrant. So I knew I had a warrant, but I wasn't living in Michigan. I was living in Ohio. So that's where that came from. But yeah, so Al Sharpton picked up my case, and they were about to do this whole march, and I'm feeling good about it because I'm like, you know, and for those of you that might not know, TNK Squad, they pulled up a picture of they say off my Facebook. I don't know how y'all found my personal Facebook, but can you send me the information because I forgot where is that. But they said it was off my Facebook or whatever. They found the picture of a lady, and this lady basically had went to jail for 5 years for it, but her stuff was a little bit deeper. The lady that they were talking about in this article, hers was a little bit deeper. So what was about to happen is I was about to become the poster child for, you know, do your kids have to suffer from, you know, having a quality education due to your area code? And it sounded like a great movement to me, because when I say Al Sharpton wasn't playing no games, he wasn't playing no games. He was going to sue the police department, the school system, and, you know, for basically the violation of my rights. And so, long story short, we went through the motions for the most part, and I think we were getting ready to, it was about a month away from the actual march, and my boss, because now it's all over the news, and the reason why it was all over the news, and for those of you that saw that different people had covered it, crap, I can't find that article, but for those of you that remember the people that had covered it or whatever, I mean that people that had covered that story or whatever, it was on the front page of the newspaper. And so I go into work or whatever, my boss calls me to the office. Me and Skip are still good friends to this day. He calls me to the, I know he probably like, Janay, looking at this stuff, I got it. But he calls me to the office or whatever, and he calls me to the office, he's like, listen, you got a choice to make. You can either be my drive time personality, or you can go and pursue this and see where it takes you, because I can't have my drive time personality splattered all over the 6 o'clock news and on the front page of the newspaper. I got 6 kids, recently divorced. What we gonna do? We gonna take B for 200, you know, and we gonna keep our job. So that's what I did. So the whole case, basically, I punked out, I pleaded out, and I pleaded to, they dropped, because they were trying to hit a girl with a felony. I said, nah, listen here. So Al's team was able to get it down to a misdemeanor, but here's the kicker. That's why I say it's important to keep your behind out the system, because once you in the system, you look wrong, you gonna get hit with a charge. And so now I done pissed off a whole police department, you hear me? I done pissed off a whole bunch of people, and it's a little bit of town, and it's as Miss Science say, for peach people only. I wasn't supposed to be in that town, and it's kind of uppity neighborhood too. So time to move. But before I can move, you gotta understand, I just called in heavyweights to this little bitty town that don't nobody mess with, and wreaked havoc. So they was gonna get me back, and they did, because you guys, I don't know where y'all be getting y'all facts from. First of all, everything you read and everything you see in a video is not true. I'm like, I'm gonna need people to really do good, you know, journalism and look up stuff. I did not falsify a freaking social security number. What I did do is I applied for my license in Janay Bench. You know that's illegal, because at the time I was still a Brockman, and when you change your social security card over to your married name, it's illegal for you to use your maiden name if you have not put it on the application. And so I was running from a girl from my younger days that I didn't put my maiden name down. I just put Janay Marie Brockman. And voila, they found something that I had applied for my license in Brockman, and I mean in Lynch, and that was illegal, and so they got their charge. And so that's how your girl got a record. Not because I was, you know, robbing the bank, throwing blows or whatever. It's because I just thought I was smarter than the average bear. That's that. So I hope you guys enjoy my little story time. I got some other happy story times that's gonna be coming along. I'm gonna continue this little series, but I wanted to make sure I got this video out. The next video I'm probably gonna address. I'm gonna finish up this Neek and King situation, because I kind of want to get done with it. But I ain't trying to do, you know, 2-3 more videos off Neek and King. I'm gonna try my best to have this video done and ready to go by tomorrow, and addressing, you know, some key points in that video, such as the Queen drama that they, you know, completely lied about. The thing about turning on my daughter, I'm gonna address that, and some other stuff. So if you wanna check that video out, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and leave a comment down below. I'm trying my best to respond to as many people as I can. If you have anything negative, just keep going, please. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Again, thank you for watching the Janay Experience. Close the door. One. Oh my God, y'all killing me. Hi, close the door.
Hey, it's your girl, Miss Janay. Now, I know you're trying to figure out what is a Wild 96.3 DJ doing in Hot Studios, because I officially made the switch. I want you to make the switch with me every weekday from 7 p.m. to midnight, because we are officially Hot 107.9.